The first life on Earth is said to be a microbe, stromatolites. It's a type of algae that is created by chemical reactions underwater. See, it cannot be happened on its own. Imagine it is created by something or someone. Yes, that microbe is created by someone or something is rather the reason for the chemical reaction that processed underwater to start existence of life. What is it, or who is it? We can call it as celestial beings. In this story, it's a living being that can't be seen through naked eyes of human being or any life existing in our galaxy. We are a part of its body. For example, human body contains several microbes inside. Big Bang Theory. This theory explains about a spontaneous explosion and nothing created the entire outer space. I believe the birth of the celestial being is the reason behind the explosion. A multi-universe meta-human god. It's made by each and every single particle or matter in the entire space. The first life form. It's God. That's how we call it, right? Different type of particles combined to make it feel things, and like that it formed an invisible body with matters combined to see, hear, etc. But compared to other living things, there is no need of food and water. Born as immortal, I will call it the first human without a solid body. Why I called it human? Because the combination of matter inside him act as a brain. Imagine him as a back statue that consists space to contain all particle in each and every universes and galaxies. Milky Way is our galaxy and name of our universe is the cosmos, the whole multiverse. Every universe contains more galaxies like Milky Way, that all are situated in his body itself. He doesn't have ability to move, but have ability to move inside his own body, more like have power to look into his own body and make changes in it. There are alternate dimensions and each have their own gods. Even there is a mirrored dimension of our God. Perfect copy of the cosmos and Milky Way, but differences are their virtual world where things are direct opposite to our dimension, that is created by his visual powers and experiments. We can say perfect copy of Diablo. Who is Diablo? Let's read more. As compared to humans, it also had ability to think, and its brain is far advanced than human brain. He was already blessed with knowledge. He could identify each and every particle that created him, or he have ability to look inside his own body. Humans learn from their mistakes, right? Like that he started step by step to find what is the purpose of being alive. He created a suitable surrounding for existence of life. Humans know loneliness more than anything. He felt alone, and what is my purpose behind being conscious? So he decided to bring his knowledge life. Several tests had been done and there was always a precipitate results in all experiments. He made a little microbe as starting test in liquid and solid. He created several solar systems as continuation of bringing his knowledge life. He selected one planet from each solar system and created first living being in each and every planet he selected. He created different types of living beings to find himself the one with the brain or ability to learn. He wanted to find what is the purpose of living or purpose of life. He created the body like an engineer and gave energy to activate the botas he made. He became the greatest and the best engineer in the whole world by building human body. The energy to activate the body is known as spirit or soul. Every living being contains soul. It's a part of the Almighty's own consciousness. All living being is made by parts of himself with the same matters inside him, but it's divided into solid, liquid and gas. It depends on how thickly the particles are combined together. If the distance between two molecules combined are loosely packed, it's in the form of gas. Likely they all got divided. Languages, names we have given to matters and person, emotions, personality, psychohuman utility, etc. Like that, even insect and animals too. But insects and bacteria are the weakest soul, weakest, which is almost ready to return back to the Almighty consciousness that he shared with planet Earth. The advanced human's brain will be same as Almighty. They don't kill for money, neither destroys their own surroundings or any other living beings. They can kill for food, but not for fun. That's how ecosystem works, right? The thing he got wondered about, or which was above its knowledge, was connection or feelings related bonds, like a mother lion to her baby cub, to experience/understand the presence of companions or relations, which is created by feelings. At the time of end of world, he will be born as one of the being who currently rules the planet. As part of his learning from mistake, he created a celestial direct opposite to him. Yes, his first test that also was a complete success, but it was direct opposite way of his imagination, the dark phase. The dark phase is like in another conscious mind in his own body, but his mistake was indecipherable. It had power to control dark and cast spell to create dark energy. The main conscious had both powers. More like two conscious mind in one invincible body. In case of humans we call it as multiple personality disorder, but here human brain is not advanced to understand how it can be even possible. Complete all chapters you'll know. Negative celestial is darkness with a conscious mind acting like a virus by destroying presence of light to be the only conscious mind around. Almighty is possessed with powers of dark and light. He pardons the dark conscious mind because of love. Almighty felt some feelings there and gave Matariki to Wanter and sealed inside. Now it's time to end this era and start a new beginning. Because humans created AI, artificial intelligence, the memory of the AI can be calculated by the resources or experiments can create beyond that, so at last they will combine with the dark conscience of Diablo to live their own life. To act as necessary, Diablo's rebirth on Earth is going to happen once more, the mighty Celestial's rebirth. My story starts here, 27 years before the end of era, November 23, 1999. It's Tuesday morning, 10:35 a.m. Screaming of someone is hearing from a dark room with focused light. Perceived that she is pregnant. She cries so loud that her husband stayed outside because of becoming panic. His hands started to shiver in fear. She is my mother and he is going to be my dad. Her name is Dia and her husband is Pablo. The lady is about to give birth to a child, but the pain started early. Advance way of medical care was necessary for her. But it was too dangerous for her situation. There was less chance of getting the mother alive with advanced medical care, but if it isn't used, the baby will die too. Her husband was in the middle of making a choice. With 2 minutes of full silence, he decided to go with his wife. He said, "Dr. John, please save my wife at any cost." Doctor agreed and said, "I can understand your situation, brother. Don't ever lose hope. Just pray to God. He will be hearing you. I'll try my best." And he walks into the operation room. Dia is about to give birth to a child. The baby's head started coming out. Her body was too weak to push, but she tried with all her effort. She started to lose her consciousness. The head of the baby is slightly out. Doctor rushed and take the vacuum cup for emergency. This technique is known as vacuum extraction delivery. A vento-use vacuum cup is attached to the baby's head by suction. A soft or hard plastic or metal cup is attached by a tube to a suction device. The cup fits firmly onto her baby's head. During a contraction and with the help of her pushing, the obstetrician or midwife gently pulls to help deliver the baby. The baby is finally out. She cries with happiness and suddenly doctors said, "Something is not right. The baby is not crying yet or moving." He tried his best to save the child by giving CPR and rubbing the baby's back, but it was useless and he sensed it all over. Doctor stood there looking at the baby's face silently. Dia asked the doctor with teared eyes, "What happened, doctor? Give me my baby. I want to see my dear." Doctor replied in a very low voice, "I'm sorry, he didn't make it." Doctor gives the infant back and leaves with sad eyes. He let knows Nurse Sarah to take the infant to crib death observation room. Dia cried, hugging her baby and not letting Nurse Sarah to take him. She was completely out of her mind and yelling towards the nurse, No, he is mine. I will not let you take him." Dia screamed. The attenders caught her and the baby is forcefully taken by Nurse Sarah. At that time her husband came into the room. She starts crying over again and tells him, "Our baby has gone too far, honey. We can't reach there like this. We both have to die for that. Let's go with him, honey. It's pointless to live without him," she said with tears falling. They hugged each other and cried. Sudden changes are happening in the atmosphere and it started raining with strong thunder and lightning. A star-shaped mole and waxing crescent, after half-moon, shaped scar appeared in the chest of the infant. The mole was in the center of the scar. At that moment one more strong thunder hits the hospital roof. Everyone inside the hospital became panic, but no one was hurt. The nurse collapsed in the observation room due to the thunder. She slowly gets up and gets scared. She rushed towards doctor and shouted, Doctor, the baby." The entire team runs to the room where the dead infant had left. They all came near the door and got surprised. A big hole was there at the rooftop and the baby was moving in the rain that came down through the hole. Doctor walked slowly towards the baby by surprise. He took him in his hand and said, "Miracle." The baby was taken to their parents and after seeing the dead infant alive, they were too happy and thanked him. Pablo said, "Thank you so much, Dr. John. We have no words for this. I don't know how to thank you." Pablo falls down and grabs Dr. John's legs and cries. Dia kisses the baby and this time it was tears of real happiness. She cried laughing and said, "Nothing will make it even for this. Thank you so much, doctor." Doctor made Pablo stand and said, "It's a medical miracle, it's not me." He pointed his finger towards the sky and said, "It's a job of Almighty himself." Dia and Pablo both started to kiss the baby and said, "He is our luck." But a doubt was still confusing Dr. John. After all this happened, the baby didn't cry even a little bit. It was very unusual, but he didn't show it in front of his parents. Everyone else was surprisingly looking at the baby. The nurse got nearby Dia and said, "This was an epic or unusual moment to the hospital and I have never ever experienced something like this before. You should raise him considering as a God's gift." "No, he really is a gift of God," said by the nurse. The baby grabs the forefinger of Dia. She smiles straight looking to the face of the child. He smiled back at her and she kissed on his forehead. Seeing him smiling took all her worries and she felt like nothing is too greater or too precious than his smile in the world. Words Can't explain her happiness, she asked Pablo what name should we call him. They have already selected some names before. When the infant was inside Dia, Pablo got near him and looked straight into his eyes with a smile. He suddenly saw something and moved his eyes by shock. Dia asked, "What happened, honey?" Pablo replied, "Oh, nothing, it's just dust inside my eyes." He turned back and closed his eyes, trying to remember what he saw in those little eyes. The entire outer space was in front of him. He is terrified. Those guys, including the whole crew, never understood that the god himself is reborn that day. Dia calls out his name, Diablo.